Hi everybody, Adam Levine at Sky Insurance Brokers. I'm here to talk to you about, unfortunately, fire and fire claims. We're currently in the midst of dealing with the Caldor fire up in El Dorado County, which has affected Grizzly Flats and Grizzly Flats and Somerset and parts of Placerville and Pollock Pines. I've been in communication with a lot of clients and just not even always clients, but also people at the evacuation shelters, trying to help out as best I can. So a lot of questions have come up, and I thought I would put it to video, some information regarding what to do if you are in a catastrophe zone or being called in the middle of the night and told you're being forced to evacuate, like some of my clients have recently had happened to them. In this scenario, like what's playing out with Caldor fire, you may get a call in the middle of the night due to a wildfire in your proximity from a local authority, such as the sheriff's department or police department, telling you have to evacuate. That's what we call a mandatory evacuation versus having a voluntary evacuation. If you have to evacuate, in other words, if your home is not considered habitable, you do have some recourse with your current home policies. Depending on who your carrier is, it would fall under the coverages for either loss of use, or if it's a fair plan policy, what we call the fair rental value coverage. They will cover anything from hotel room stays to meals, incidentals like toothbrushes and hairspray, whatever you need, is all covered under this. There is some differences depending on the carrier. They might not pay for that unless it's a mandatory evacuation. However, most carriers tend to agree that if it goes towards the safety of the insured, it's going to be covered. The first thing that my clients have done is and other non-clients but victims of this fire, what they did was they packed up their car, and as if they were camping, they threw some food in, some dog food, some clothes, and they got the heck out of there. They went to the nearest Red Cross shelters. One of the things that you're going to want to do in this scenario is find the nearest catastrophe shelter. Usually it's Red Cross, and maybe FEMA's there or not. And you're going to want to register with them. There's some services they can provide you. There's food there. There's supplies there. But that should be the first thing that you do, probably, is find a shelter and get registered as somebody who's been displaced. You're going to want to contact your insurance agent as well. We're here to advise. This is where we are there for you. Our job is not just to sell you insurance, but to be there for you and help guide you through this process. It's not fun. It's a stressful experience. A lot of tears, a lot of uncertainty. A lot of the people in the Caldor fire, they were rousted out of their homes in the middle of the night, told to get the heck out of there, and they don't even know the status of their home yet. But they're incurring expenses. In a small community like El Dorado County, every single hotel room has been booked up. People are going as far as Harbor Boulevard in Sacramento to a half a star hotel because that's all they have. So just understand it's going to be difficult. There's going to be immediate needs that have to be met: food, shelter, clothing. Call your insurance agent. That person can help you out. Here at Sky, we're very proactive about that. Call us if you're one of our agents. I'm more than happy to meet you and help bring you some supplies. But the first step, like I said, is starting at one of the evacuation shelters and registering for them, because that way you get your services. I'm going to give you some suggestions, some things that have been learned by some colleagues of mine over the years based on like the Paradise catastrophe, the Paradise fire. These are some steps, some suggestions that were handed off to me that can be very helpful in this scenario. First and foremost, as I said, was register at a shelter, whether it's Red Cross or FEMA. You need to call your homeowner's insurance agent, and they'll get the claims process started for you, even if it's only right now that immediate loss of use or fair rental value coverage needs. You're going to want to save your receipts for now. So for instance, if you have to check into a Holiday Inn Express and have a couple meals, or go to the grocery store and get some food for the kitchenette, save those receipts, because even if you called today to start that loss of use claim, it could take a few days for it to even be processed, for reimbursements to even be sent. Second question, where do they send it to? If you've been evacuated from the home, you obviously can't get your mail there. One of the suggestions from my colleagues is immediately get a post office box. Find a post office box that's available in the city, preferably that's convenient for you, like near your home, and have all your mail sent there. Anything regarding claims or submitting claims, use that address. That way you have a way to get your mail and be kept in touch with, and a place where, frankly, refunds, reimbursement checks can be sent to. You should have, like I said, immediate access to funds by getting in touch with your insurance agent and getting you in touch and getting a claim started. Even for if right now your home status is unknown, you can at least get immediate relief and help for toothbrushes and shampoo, and maybe you got out with just the clothes on your back, you need some fresh t-shirts, whatever. That's what being a part of being communicative with your insurance agent is going to help you. You need to have somebody to help you through that whole process. Then as I mentioned, you're going to want to have your mail forwarded to that P.O. box. If you have utilities, gas, cable, etc., I would have them cut off for now. No sense in paying for cable on a place that you're not at. Who knows how long it'll be before you are able to make it back into your home, or before they allow you to go back and meet a claims adjuster there if there's a total loss. But either way, you shouldn't be paying for gas and electric and cable if you're not there. So maybe suspend those services, save a little money there. One of the things you're going to need to do, especially if you understand that your home is a loss, is you're going to start working on your personal property list. And this is not going to be fun. It's going to be a tearful event. It's going to be heartbreaking because you will have lost things that are irreplaceable. TVs, furniture, clothes can be replaced. Photographs, memories cannot. So it's going to be hard. I feel for you and I understand it, but to best help you, you've really got to power through it. The best suggestion I can make is always keep a pad of paper with you. When you think of something, whether it be, my necklace in that drawer on the top shelf or whatever, write it down immediately before you forget. They say that write it down the moment you remember, keep it on a list with you at all times, because you'd be surprised how something pops into your head at 2 in the morning that, oh my goodness, I left grandma's brooch in the top drawer of the dresser. You won't remember that till later, and you don't want to be searching for a pad to write it down, or have your personal property on 14 different scraps of paper. So just keep that with you. You do have a finite amount of personal property coverage in your policy. Even if you think that the personal property list that you've got is more than what you have coverage for, it doesn't matter. Just write it all down, okay? Write it down. We can work it out, sort it out later. You're also going to want to try and find the replacement cost for items when you have time to do that. So not what you paid for that TV after a 30% discount from Best Buy, but what it would cost to replace that TV today with a like TV. Like for like, that's what it's all about. Try and help your claims adjuster with that, figuring out what it would cost to replace that TV or that Makita drill or whatever. You're going to want to coordinate with your insurance agency, the carrier, with regards to that loss of use. What clients have been doing, if it's the FAIR plan, for instance, they've been contacting the FAIR plan, getting a claim started, and the FAIR plan claims adjuster will tell them where to submit receipts for reimbursement. Then it takes the FAIR plan about 24 to 48 hours to process reimbursement, and they can send it to your PO box. But it's also, you're going to want to get those claims started right away, so that way it's already open if it needs to be amended to include now a loss of a structure and personal property. As I said, itemized list is the best it can do. It's going to be heartbreaking, but do your best. What it would cost to replace these items, not what you paid for them, but the cost to replace them. Again, make sure you list everything, even if it's above and beyond the limits of your policy, because sometimes this can go into your loss of use coverage. Okay. Insurance, your car insurance. Let's say your car was in the garage and the house was a total loss and your car burned down. That's not covered under your homeowner's insurance. That would be your auto policy. So if your auto policy is with a different carrier than your home, you're going to want to contact your auto carrier and submit the claim for the lost home, the lost vehicle as well. The one thing that I can say is to use the resources that you have. Make contacts with, network with other people, whether it's other victims of the catastrophe or just working in conjunction with your agent. Again, that's why we're here. We're kept busy by helping you with the claims. We have our other work to do. Yes, we sell policies, but at the end of the day, we're here to help you in this time of need. That's what you're supposed to be doing, and that's what we're here for you. So stay in touch with your agent. I check in with my clients every day or so. Hey, how's it going? Where you need anything? Need me to drop off supplies, etc. That's what a good agent should be doing. But it's also there to help you, because this is going to be a tough road. The average, if your home is a total loss, it's going to take some time for the claim to be resolved. If you're planning on rebuilding and living there at the same place, it could be a couple of years before you're no longer displaced. So you need to start thinking about a long-term rental. That's what you have for most policies. They call it loss of use. With a FAIR plan, they call it the fair rental value coverage. That's what it's for. While you're displaced, they expect that you're going to have expenses relating to living expenses, and can't live in a hotel for 2 years. So you're going to have to start thinking long term. But keep in mind, if that's what you're going to start looking around at, looking at apartments or a house to rent, similarly, like for like, if you're used to living in a 2,400 square foot house and your mortgage is about $2,500 a month, then you should be looking for an apartment that's similarly sized or priced, because you only have a finite pool of money in that loss of use, and that's supposed to be stretched out between those 2 to 3 years. It could be. So when you're looking for some place to live, a long-term rental, make sure it's something that you're like. Don't just take the first thing that comes along just to get you out of the hotel, because you could be there for a while. And certainly don't sign any long-term leases, because with the insurance process and the claims settlement process is very fluid. It can change overnight. You don't want to be locked into a 1-year lease when they can get you resolved in 6 months. Maybe you decide you don't want to rebuild a stick-built home, but instead would like a manufactured home delivered to the property instead, and that could be done in 4 months, for instance. And You don't want to be locked into a long-term lease. So be careful of that. Um, but definitely start searching for a long-term rental after you've spoken with your insurance company and started the claim, especially once you know the status of your home, whether it was a total loss, whether it's going to need just 3 months of non-habitability while it's rebuilt, or what. If you know the home is lost, it's time to start looking for a long-term rental. But don't think of it like, oh, I've only got a couple of days here at the hotel. If you can stay in that hotel for a week because you have issues and it needs a little stability there before you start making that hunt, that's fine too. One of the things that we found as an issue with people staying in hotels that are looking for short-term placement is dogs and animals. What do we do with our dog? This hotel, you're going to want to find out. I believe it's called gofido.com, is a website that will tell you which hotels allow dogs. So you might want to research that, especially if you're staying in a shelter and you're waiting pending, availability of a room at a local hotel to stay at. Make sure that your animals are taken care of as well. There's shelters for animals if need be. The Red Cross personnel, the FEMA personnel, if they're involved, they can help you with all that. I know personally at the evacuation centers, I saw a lot of food for animals and litter boxes and things like that, accessories for animals being dropped off for the animals that have been displaced as well. At the end of the day, we're here for you. I'm here to answer any questions for you, help you start claims. If you're not a client of ours, I'm still available to answer questions. Your insurance agent should be there available for you as well, but maybe you're not as lucky and don't have Sky Insurance as your insurance agency. But those are just some of the things to remember or to consider while you're going through these trying times. It is very difficult. Patience is the key. There's a lot of frustration with the people who have been displaced because of trying to find housing and trying to come up with money to pay for another night at the hotel and only have so much money in their account. The only way to get help is to ask for help. Okay, people tend to be independent and not want to ask other people for help, family members or friends. They don't want to impose, but this is exactly, people are actually a lot more willing to help in a scenario like this than you would believe. So use the help that you can get to the max ability that you're able to get it. Use those networking resources, whether it be the FEMA people, the Red Cross people, your insurance agent. But it's going to be a long haul. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But the experience, how good or bad the experience is during that long haul, can be helped a lot if you take into consideration some of these things. A big one, the P.O. box. Obviously, you can't get your bills at the house if you're not allowed to go back to the house because the local authorities are preventing you from going to the house because fire's still in the area. You're going to need to still pay your bills. So I would contact your various services, whether it be your credit card company or whoever, and just say, hey, look, I've been displaced by a fire. Can I have a grace period? The only way to find out is to ask. But you got to have a place for your mail to go to. So immediately, that's probably one of the first things besides contacting Red Cross you should do is get that P.O. box, get a place for your mail to go. That little things like that people tend to not think about while they're dealing with the shell shock of being displaced. But that's a major one that's going to really be a time change. It's going to save a lot of time, but it's going to be a game changer for you with this claim, is having a mailbox that's not where in the catastrophe zone. So please hang in there. Know that you're not alone. There are a lot of people out there that are waiting and willing to help you. and we're always available to help you. And if you have questions, give us a call. Again, I'm Adam at Sky Insurance Brokers. We are here to help you and help you start your claims if need be. Give us a call. Take care and God bless.